Hello, and welcome again to another day of classes. Today we're going to be continuing with the Interchange 5th edition Level 3, the Green Book, and today we're going to be starting with the Unit 8. As always, we start with a language summary or the vocabulary for this lesson. Okay, so let's jump right in with some nouns. Language learning vocabulary. Interesting. Accent. The way in which people in a particular area, country, or social group pronounce words. Basically, your accent is the way that you speak a language. For example, a really good example for this is the English spoken by Americans from the United States and from England, the British people. Okay? So instead of saying vacations like in the United States, they say holiday. Instead of saying jelly like the British people, Americans say jello. Instead of saying elevator, they say lift. Instead of saying lorry, they say truck. Instead of saying crazy or insane, they say mad. Instead of saying marvelous, they say marvelous. Okay? Let's see what is an idiom. A group of words in a fixed order that have a particular meaning that is different from the meanings of each word on its own. Okay, so basically it's a type of sentence that is referred to another thing. Okay, commonly used idioms. Let's see some of them. In touch, in contact, or in communication. Hit the sack can mean go to bed. Far cry from, it's to carefully listen. Be all ears, it's to carefully listen as well. Under the water, it's something somewhat ill or gloomy. On the ball, it's be alert, active, very rarely or unusual or very infrequently. Okay, I know this is for once in a blue moon. Bite the bullet means force yourself to do something difficult or unpleasant. These are like refrains. Pronunciation. This is what we practice when we listen to a good way to say things. For example, this alien is saying rank, rank, when it's range. Vocabulary. What we're saying? All the words known and used by a particular person. Your vocabulary is all of the words that you know, basically. Learning path and study methods. Conference. An event sometimes lasting a few days at which there is a group of talks on a particular subject, or a meeting in which especially business matters are discussed formally. Basically, a conference is a type of reunion where a lot of people gather to discuss or to learn about a topic. Internship. An internship is an opportunity offered by an employer to potential employees called interns to work at a firm for a fixed period of time. This is like a trial type of work where you do the same work or you try to get as much experience in an area or a subject as you can in order to get, experience to work in an actual job. Okay, very good. Job shadowing. The activity of spending time with someone who is doing a particular job so that you can learn how to do it. Okay, so you're with the person that actually works on the field, so to say. Language course. An educational course in which a foreign language is taught. Basically, when you are learning in a different language, that's a language course. We can say that these videos that you see every day or every so time of days are a language course. Lecture. A formal talk on a serious subject given to a group of people, especially students. Basically, a lecture is the class, so to say, given by a teacher to students. Actually, I am lecturing right now. I am giving my lecture. Online course. What we're doing? It's a type of course that is taken online. Professional course. A professional course is a college level course designed to target those who are in or about to enter the workforce in the corporate, government, or technology fields. It's basically the type of courses taken by people that are already graduated from college or are about to graduate. A study group is a group to study. Really easy. Traditional course. A traditional course is a type of course that we all have taken, like with normal classes, where a teacher speaks and we listen and on quotes, learn. Private tutor. A tutor is someone that works only with you or with a few quantity, only a small quantity of students to help them learn because maybe it's difficult for them. Personal qualities and skills. Artistic skills. These are the type of abilities related to art. Communication skills. Abilities for communication. Competitiveness. It's having or being energetic or enthusiastic about being better than other people in the field that you want to be better. Maybe in a job, maybe in a game, etc. Concern for others. When you have concern for others, it means that you worry about other people and not only yourself. It's like being the opposite of selfish. Cooperation. When you cooperate or you have cooperation, it's when you work with different people at the same time. Creativity. When you have creativity, you think about a lot of different things and you're innovative. Money management. Money management is good use of your money and use it in a wise way. Perseverance. Perseverance is to continue doing the things even if you're not getting any results, or actually you're getting bad results, but you're still thinking and feeling and believing that you will get good results at the end. So you continue, so you persevere. And that is perseverance. Problem solving. Easy to solve problems, or simply by solving problems. Self-confidence. The belief that you can do things well and that other people respect you. If you have self-confidence, you think good of yourself. Self-discipline. The ability to make yourself do things you know you should do even when you do not want to do it. That is self-discipline. Actually, recording this video is my way of self-discipline because maybe I just want to lay in bed and watch a movie or play video games, but I know that it's my responsibility to make these videos. So by using my self-discipline, I record this video. Okay? Time management is the same as money management, but with time. Use your time efficiently. Tolerance. When you have tolerance, it's when you tolerate or you have no problems with different people or different situations. And we all have lots of tolerance. It's the best. Some other words. Application of skills. That is the moment that you use the abilities that you know. Approach. A way of considering or doing something. Basically, an approach is like, okay, let's do it like this. Attorney. It's a lawyer. Basically, your attorney is the people that defend you on a case or wants to win a case. Budget. A plan to show how much money a person or organization will earn and how much they will need to be able to spend. Basically, the budget is how much money you can spend on something. Clutter. A lot of objects in a state of being untied. It's basically a disorder when you have clutter. Curriculum. This is a curriculum. It gives all of your professional information, all of the things that you know, etc. Daily planner. It's the planner for your days. Well, basically, it's a type of notes of the things that you're going to be doing in a day. Dish. These are dishes. Finance. Anything related to economics or the use of money on a company or on a personal matter. Foreign language. A foreign language is a language for a country different than yours. For example, if your mother language is Spanish, a foreign language can be English or Russian or French or any other, basically, that is not yours. Martial arts are the types of arts made or use to fight. Outdoors, that is outside of your house or of a building. Play, to play is to reproduce. Public defender, in the United States and some other countries, a lawyer paid for by the government to represent an accused person who cannot pay for a private lawyer. Basically, if you have no money to pay for a lawyer, they assigned you one. Public speaking. It's speaking in public. Oh my god. A sitcom. A situation comedy, a funny television or radio show in which the same characters appear in each program in a different story. Basically, a sitcom is a comedy with recurrent characters, like Friends. Surrounding. Surrounding, it's everything around you that surrounds you. Volunteer activities. Activities that you do because you want to help. Let's see some adjectives. Identical. Exactly the same or very, very similar. Like these two babies are identical. Native. Relating to or describing someone's country or place of birth, or someone who was born in a particular country or place. So basically a native is someone that was born in a place and haven't moved to any other place. They are native from that area. Practical, relating to experience or real situations or actions rather than ideas or imagination. Something practical is something that can help you on your daily life. Private, only for one person or group and not for everyone. Something private, that is only for you. Right, it's the same as correct. If you're right, it means that you have the reason. It is true. It's good. Shy, nervous, and uncomfortable with other people. If you are shy, it's like it's not easy for you to communicate with other people or to be friends with new people. Useful, effective, helping you to do or achieve something. Let's see some verbs. Attend, to go to an event, place, etc. Claim, to say that something is true or is a fact, although you cannot prove it, and other people might not believe it. Okay, that is to claim something. Concentrate, to direct your attention or your efforts towards a particular activity, subject, or problem. When you concentrate on something, it's like you think a lot about only one thing. Expect, to think or believe something will happen or someone will arrive. Maybe you're expecting this video to end. Get a degree, get a raise, or get a license. It's basically to obtain, to buy, or to earn something. When you get a degree, you obtain it. When you get a raise, you earn it. And when you get a license, maybe you buy it, maybe you earn it, etc. Improve, to cause something to get better. When something improves, it gets better. Join, to connect or fasten things together. To put things together, basically, it's to join or to become part of something. Learn about, to get knowledge or a skill in a new subject or activity. Basically, to learn about something is to start to know about a new thing. Manage, to succeed in doing or dealing with something, especially something difficult. Prefer, to like, choose, or want one thing rather than another. When you prefer something, okay, I want this instead of this, or I want this instead of this. Set up, to start a new business. Sing along, to sing a piece of music while someone else is singing or playing it. Okay, when you sing along, it's when you're, singing with other people. Study on your own. It's basically when you study by yourself. Take a class, a course, or take an intern on. When you take a class or a course, you're you're part of a class and you're taking it. Volunteer, to offer to do something that you do not have to do, often without having been asked to do it and or without expecting payment. You just want to participate or you just want to help. Okay, very good. Then we're gonna come back here to this lovely grammar, but let's go to the book now. Okay, Unit 8. Never stop learning. In this unit, we're going to be discussing personal preferences, and then on the next video, we're going to discuss ways of learning and life skills. Okay, so let's start by looking at this snapshot. Learning anywhere, anytime, for any reasons. Okay, so we have some learning paths and some learning benefits. Let's read them. Well, some learning paths are to go to college, to take online courses, to take traditional training classes, to study on your own, to set up a study group, to attend conferences, to watch filmed lectures. And some benefits of learning are to get a degree, to meet people and expand your network, to change jobs or career path, to get a raise or promotion at work, to get a professional license or certification, to learn something that makes your life easier, and to have fun. It's another benefit. Very good. Okay, let's look at this. A survey perspectives. Listen to a survey that a school is conducting about student preferences. Check the students' answers, okay? So take your time to listen and read all of this and also choose which ones are the preferences that the students answers, okay? Okay, so let's listen and read.
Unit 8. Never Stop Learning. Page 50. Exercise 2. Perspectives. A survey. Part A. Listen to a survey that a school is conducting about student preferences. Check the students' answers.
Okay, let's start. 1. Would you rather study on your own or join a study group? A. I'd rather study on my own. B. I'd rather join a study group. C. I'd rather do both.
I guess I'd rather join a group.
2. Would you rather take an art course or a professional course? A. I'd rather take an art course. B. I'd rather take a professional course. C. I'd rather not take either. I'd rather take a language course.
I'd rather not take either. I think I'd rather take a language course.
3. Would you prefer to take an online course or a traditional course? A. I'd prefer to take an online course. B. I'd prefer to take a traditional course. C. I'd prefer not to take either. I'd prefer to hire a private tutor.
Let's see. I'd prefer to take an online course.
Okay, very good. Did you get the answers? What did the students said? Well, if you got the answers, for the first one, he said that he'd rather join a study group. On the second one, he'd rather not take either and rather take a language course. And in the last one, he preferred not to take either and he preferred to hire a private tutor. Very good. Now, let's continue with this pronunciation. Interesting. Intonation in questions of choice. If you remember this is something that we have seen a good couple of videos back, but then we're gonna see it again, okay? And actually listen to it again, okay? So let's pay attention to this and then we're gonna practice, okay? Okay, so let's listen.
Page 51. Exercise 3. Pronunciation. Intonation in questions of choice. Listen and practice. Notice the intonation in questions of choice.
Would you prefer to study online or at a school?
Would you rather learn something fun or useful?
Did you notice how they were changing the intonation in each one of the options? That is exactly the intonation in this pronunciation. When you're given different options, you should give different intonations to each one of the options in order to, to be easy to be understood. Would you prefer to study online or at a school? Would you rather learn something fun or useful? Having a rising intonation for the first ones and a falling intonation for the last ones. If you have three or more, you say all of the first or the previous ones with rising intonation and only the last one with falling. It's like, for example, would you prefer to study online on your own or at a school? Would you rather learn something fun, interesting, hopeful, or useful? Okay, it's only on the last one that we use the falling intonation. Okay, very good. Okay, let's go right away to the grammar focus for today. That is something quite interesting, and we were using it right now with the would rather or would prefer. Okay, as always, would you imagine I have some grammar for this? Very good, some materials. Okay, would rather and would prefer. What is the difference between this? Well, we use the modal expressions would prefer and would rather to talk about our preferences in English, what we like over other things. These two expressions mean the same thing and are synonyms for the verb prefer. Okay, so they basically mean the same thing, but we use the two of them. When do we use each one? Okay, let's look at these examples. To present or general preferences, would you prefer coffee or tea? I think I would prefer coffee this morning. For future preferences, we would rather live near the beach than in the mountains. We would prefer to live near the beach. Okay, very good. Okay, so what is the difference after all if there are both to say the preference? Well, with prefer, I prefer, you can use both nouns and verbs. But with rather, we only use it for verbs, okay? Okay, that's the thing. You can say, I prefer pizza, or I prefer to eat pizza. But with rather, we cannot say, I'd rather pizza. That is incorrect. It's very bad. But you can say, I'd rather eat pizza. And if you notice, another difference is that with prefer, you need to use the infinitive, but with rather, you don't need to use the infinitive. You just use the base form, okay? Okay, so, repeating this, prefer both for nouns and verbs, and with verbs is an infinitive. I prefer to eat pizza. I prefer pizza. With rather, only verbs, and it's with the base form. I'd rather eat pizza. Very good. Prefer or rather. Would you rather study, because it's a base form of the verb of study? You're going to say, would you prefer study? No. It would be, would you prefer to study? That would be correct. But since we don't have infinitive, we say rather. Would you rather study Chinese or Japanese? I'd rather not study either. Okay? Study is the base form, so we use rather. I prefer to learn, it's infinitive, so we say prefer. I'd prefer to learn Korean. Okay? Very good. Now that you notice the difference with this is the easiest thing ever. Okay? Let's see this. Would rather takes the base form of a verb. Would prefer usually takes an infinitive. Both are followed by not in the negative. Okay? So basically what we saw. Would you rather take, you see, base form of a verb, not infinitive. Would you rather take an art course or a professional course? I'd rather take an art course. I'd rather not take either. I'd rather take a language course than study art. Let's join a study group. I'd rather not join a group. I'd rather not. I'd prefer not to join a group. I'd prefer not to. Okay, so we use an infinitive here. Would you prefer to take an online course or a traditional course? I prefer to take an online course. I prefer not to take either. Okay? In both cases, we use not before the verb, either if it's infinitive or in the base form. Both of them, the not comes first. Okay, how do you understand this? It's something that is really easy and really useful. It's just remembering the difference with when to use rather and when to use prefer. Remember that they mean the same thing. Okay? Now, if you really understand this, let's complete this exercise. You're going to complete the conversations with would and the appropriate forms of the verb in parentheses. Then we're going to check, okay? Okay, so take your time to complete this and then we check. Okay, you finished? Let's check. Number 1. Would you rather take a technical course or an art course? I would prefer to take an art course. I'd like to learn to paint. Would you prefer to get a promotion or a new job? Actually, I'm not very happy at my present job, so I'd rather get a new job. Would you prefer to learn something fun or something practical? I'd guess I'd prefer to study something practical, like personal finance. Would you rather learn English in England or in Canada? To tell you the truth, I prefer not to study in either place. I'd rather go to Australia because it's warmer there, but you're not gonna learn a really good English. Oh, if you decide to learn to play an instrument, would you prefer to attend a class or have a private tutor? I'd rather take a class than hire a tutor. Would you rather have a job in an office or work outdoors? I'd definitely rather have a job where I'm outdoors. If you have these answers, very good. You are correct. Okay, let's continue. We're almost finishing. We're gonna be doing the last thing for today. That it's a listening. Do what you love. Do what you love, people. Listen to a conversation between a student and his guidance counselor. You're gonna check the suggestions that the guidance counselor gives. So check the correct suggestions after you listen. Okay, so let's listen and then we're gonna check.
Page 52. Exercise 5. Listening. Do what you love. Part A. Listen to a conversation between a student and his guidance counselor. Check the suggestions the guidance counselor gives.
Hello, Yvonne. How great to see you. How are your classes going?
Well, okay, Ms. Mooney, but I think I'd rather be studying psychology. I chose civil engineering as my major, but this psychology class that I took was amazing. I'd even stay after class to talk to the professor about the material. I never do that in my other classes.
That's great. But psychology is a big change from civil engineering.
Exactly. What if I change majors and regret it later? I'm getting good grades in my engineering classes, but I'm bored. Psychology was really interesting, but it wasn't as easy. Maybe I should just do what's easy.
Don't do what's easy. Do what you love. But you only took one psychology class, right? Perhaps you need to learn more about the field.
So you think I should take more classes?
Yes, you could. Have you ever heard of informational interviews? That's an option, too.
What are they?
You find people with jobs in the fields you're interested in and sit down with them and ask them about their work. You know, the day-to-day stuff, what they like, what they don't like, how many years they had to study. It's like an interview, but just to learn about the job.
That sounds great. So I could talk with a civil engineer and a psychologist?
Sure, and you could even shadow some of these professionals.
Shadow them?
Job shadowing is when you follow someone around at their job and experience it from their perspective. Think of it like an internship, but you're only watching. You can shadow someone for a few hours or several times if you'd prefer. You know, before I became a guidance counselor, I was a banker.
You were a banker, Ms. Mooney?
Yes, for 10 years. But after doing some volunteer work with finance students, I realized I'd rather help people than crunch numbers. So I did informational interviews and job shadowing, and here I am. And I love being a guidance counselor. So, what do you say? Shall we find some professionals you can talk to?
Yes, please. I need all the information I can get.
Okay, very good. Did you get the answers for all of this? If you did, Let's check. Well, the guidance council mentioned to take more classes, to do some job shadowing, and to get some informational interviews, to do some informational interviews, okay? If you have these answers, very good. You are correct. Okay, that's been everything for today. On the next class, we're gonna be continuing with, discussing ways to learning and life skills, and looking at the grammar by plus gerund to describe how to do things. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. But that's been everything for today. So see you on the next time. Bye.